Hello, and welcome to my thoughts while standing in the queue. The other day, when I tripped and fell into a gentleman's lap while he was drinking his coffee and spilled it all over his lovely white suit, I thought to myself, my God, it sure would be lovely if we could hide away where nobody could see us when something terribly embarrassing happened. A guy in Texas just did that very thing. He was wanted for minor theft, and instead of reporting to the police station and giving himself up, he hid himself in his girlfriend's clothes dryer. That does not sound like a good option to me. In the first place, it sounds very uncomfortable, and although I am very small, I still would feel very cramped in a clothes dryer, and besides, there's no toilet. So I would never do that, especially with someone my age, where a toilet is a major furnishing and very well-used object in my house. However, there have been thousands of times when I would have loved to have escaped to some distant, unattainable place to avoid horrible embarrassment at the crazy things that I do. I mean, for example, I will never forget the time I went into a care home and brought my dog Amy for all the residents to pet. The director greeted me at the door and said, "I hope she's housebroken." And I said, "Of course she is." And then my darling dog dumped a load right on the director's shoe. I don't think I've ever been so embarrassed. It felt like I had dumped the load, not the dog. And one of the things I would have loved to have done is just grabbed Amy and ran out to the nearest pickup truck and hidden in the back of it under a blanket so that no one would see us. Eventually, the truck would have pulled away and taken us to some far-off exotic place like Sunnyvale, where the streets are lined with pots of flowers, and even the checkout girls have IQs over 200. And then there was the time that I was serving dinner at the Hillcrest Hotel to a large group of people, and I decided to stop in the ladies to relieve myself. When I emerged and grabbed my tray of dinners and forks and knives and napkins and things that I was serving to these posh people, I didn't realize that my skirt was tucked up into my waistband and there was a stream of toilet paper hanging out of my knickers. I continued serving the main course, the dessert, and pouring the coffee, and didn't realize until I got home and noticed there was a cool breeze blowing in the region of my bum that I was so exposed and had spoiled the appetite of over 100 people. I was so embarrassed, I was ashamed to go out for fear that I would meet one of those people somewhere on the street and they would remind me of how I'd been walking around with toilet paper hanging down to my ankles and my knickers exposed the way they were. And I thought, well, maybe what I could do is run away to a deserted farmhouse and live there for several years. But then I realized that if I did that and closed the door and locked it, there would be no supermarket nearby and I would die of starvation. And I really like food. So the truth is that there are so many places that I would love to hide when I do these disgusting things that I do, like asking an obese lady when the baby is due, or throwing up in inappropriate places. And I was thinking, well, I could run away to the zoo and hide in the monkey cage. No one would know the difference. Or I could climb up in a tree and defecate in the flowers for years and years, but that would be uncomfortable too. And all the places that I thought of, none of them really sounded desirable or really comfy. And I like to be comfy, especially at my age, because I've gotten a little bony and I need a nice cushion. So I think that the only answer when you want to escape an embarrassing situation is to have a nice stash of LSD ready and waiting for you to ingest. And again, thank you so much for joining me in my thoughts while standing in the queue.